Hello and welcome to yet another session here at the Gosu Academy. My name is NATO Safix and today I'm a little ill. I hope you'll be able to make it through the entire session, and I hope I won't be sneezing too much, stuff like that. What we'll be doing today is we'll be looking at the best solo queue moves that I personally have in that I use to win in Face It or in matchmaking games, stuff like that. I think we've maybe done a sort of similar session earlier, but I was also thinking, since I know if I've done it, it's been a while, it's probably time to do it again, because there's new people who have subscribed to my YouTube, and there's also new people here at the Gosu Academy, of course. So basically, my plan is to just go through T and CT on probably the most used POC maps. We'll see how many maps we'll be able to get through. Maybe I'll run through them real quick, and maybe not. But ideally, this will be something that you can do completely solo, or which is very simple, so you can explain it to one person, basically, and they will help you with it. So also, I have NVIDIA Broadcast on today, because sometimes my girlfriend's keyboard is a little loud in the background, and let me know how that sounds as well, people in the comment section, basically. So let's start Mirage. I basically always start Mirage, and the reason is because it's the most played PUC map. One of the things that I say a lot to my team is that I will just go instantly in APs, and that they play 4 in middle. Now, the idea of this, anyone who has seen any of the previous sessions, basically, I had this I have this whole theory how the middle of Mirage and A are connected by a piece of string, basically, and that if you do pressure in mid, you're pulling the A players, or like the A rotators, like the current player, towards mid. You're making the AWP probably stay around mid, and the same if you are it's vice versa. If you do heavy pressure A, you do execute whatever, you're pulling people away from mid, and then short player might come out and see you in mid, but in general you will be having more space in mid. With that in mind, what I like to do as a solo queue move is I will tell my team to go 4 mid and do heavy mid pressure. So I want them to just, if you are at a high enough level to smoke window from spawn, or have teammates who are able to do this, definitely ask for that. Otherwise, you can just ask them to do any smoke, or they could, even if you're at a really low level, just ask them to peek with nothing. By doing this and fighting very heavily, this kind of gives me a one-on-one on A. So a lot of the times when I do this, I will be inside A apartments, and I will just be almost looking at the radar and be listening to what I hear. So as I'm standing in here, I'm just holding for push. And I guess this is also kind of a small thing. When you're pushing APs as a CT, you're always clearing like this, and you very rarely clear this deep corner, because there are so many angles that the Ts could potentially be holding you from that are kind of much more dangerous. There's like this. They could also be sitting, here. They could also, a lot of people are standing here. So kind of to counter that, what I actually like is to sit in this corner. It looks like the kind of noob corner that everyone would go to, but I actually think it's the strongest corner for basically all levels. Now let me blow my nose one time, because this probably won't be just one time, but that is the problem when you are ill. But I think we'll make it through the session either way, guys. So when I'm inside Palace, what I will do is I will, as I said, use my radar a lot, and I will also check, I will listen to the sounds. And when I feel like the CTs are fighting my teammates in mid, a lot of the times I will just walk out and try to see if I can find this one-on-one duel against the A player. Because if my teammates are doing heavy pressure in mid, ideally the player who is playing on A should be playing alone. And obviously there's many places it can be. It can be sandwich, top bulk, under bulk, default, push down slope, ticket, firebox. There's a million places it can be. But I find that apps is the strongest to go from a lot of the time, because if he's not playing above bulk or sandwich, you're kind of killing him in the side here and here and here. And ticket is like a headshot duel. You could probably win. and otherwise you can even clear him under Belk and like make it down. Same could be done with just going slow. And while this doesn't seem like, I guess, such a high level play, that is kind of, I guess, the idea of this whole session is it's something that isn't very complex to set up or to do, but it's something that works at any level. Like you can get your teammates on board for this majority of the time, basically. There's another thing that I like to do, and for this I'll probably have to switch over to CT side. So back in CSGO, yeah.
Sorry, are you using NVIDIA Broadcast right now?
I am, yeah. Is it bad?
Yeah. You've been crackling a lot, so I don't know if it's my internet or it's the broadcast.
No, it's probably the NVIDIA Broadcast. I will change it back. And
the whole time you're just crackling, it's annoying a bit. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm happy you said it. I will change it back.
I mean, it's fine for me, so I don't know. Maybe it's a connection issue. Maybe.
I think until I've tested it, let's just stick to what works. Then if there's a few keyboard sounds in the background, then so be it, right?
Yeah, you sound fine now.
Yeah, I do see in my audio levels that it looked a little strange with the NVIDIA Broadcast. It's like a new version. The old version was pretty customizable, but the new one doesn't seem as customizable, or maybe I'm just stupid. But I'll move on to the session. Thank you so much for telling me anyway. But in CSGO, there were kind of two different ways of Molotoving ramp. It sounds kind of crazy that you needed like a set Molotov for this, but it was actually something that the pro players cared about, because I've talked about it previously, but if you would Molotov like this, you would get a Molotov back with the old Molotov that kind of burned everything. And so a lot of high-level players, or maybe players in general, will be trying to Molotov right here. Now, another way that CTs like to do this was they would bounce it like this, because it seemed kind of easier to land it consistently here on the corner. Now, what this did is that it builds the biggest flame always where the Molotov lands. So as you can see, the biggest flame is here, and it makes it really difficult as T to watch anyone crossing here. So the whole purpose of throwing the Molotov either like that or like that was to get the big flame to land close to the corner, so the T's had a little less info, or for example if they're boosting here that they can't really see. That was the idea. Now in CS2, a lot of people Molotov the exact same way, I notice. But if you Molotov like this, a lot of the time you can actually jump up like this and sit behind the Molotov. And even though you might take a little bit of damage, sitting here makes it so if the A player wants to move to Firebox, or if he wants to move across to Con, or even if the Con player is going here a little later, it's very possible to get a kill. And by sitting out here, it means if the Molotov fades, you know that the A player can't be playing, sandwich. He isn't playing, right side. So he has to basically be, if he's not ticket, he's default or like under or over Belk. And I think this is one of my favorite solo queue moves right now. Just jumping up here and basically holding behind the Molotov. It's crazy how many kills you can get by doing so. So how I have kind of adapted to doing it is I would throw my Molotov just slightly deeper. And the problem then becomes that the T can actually step up quite easily in front of the Molotov, or can even stand here and there isn't this deep flame or like big flame. So is there a fix for this? I'm not sure. Maybe as A player it's possible to find like a jump throw forward lineup or something like that, where even though the Molotov is slightly delayed, it's consistent. Oh, not like that. Let's try to move. But imagine at least the Molotov that lands perfectly here every single time. So it kind of has the big flame here, but it also burns the back and burns the front. What I find sometimes with this Molotov is that, you can't jump up from all the way down here. You need to go a little bit up. And even if the Molotov isn't perfect for the CT, sometimes it can actually burn here. And then as I'm jumping up, it will hurt me. This one didn't for some reason. But yeah, definitely one of my top solo queue tricks right now. And something that I actually would like to see someone bring back. It could be me, but it isn't, I guess, really a solo queue trick. I think you could potentially do it solo queue. But back in CSGO as well, I used to with AWP, come here a lot, and have my teammate throw a smoke that landed around here that turned off the Molotov, so I could instantly jump up like this and start peeking. And I think this was a super powerful peek, actually. I called it a pot plant, because you had to smoke on this one, which, I don't know, there isn't actually even a plant. Maybe there was in CSGO, I think so. I think it was one of these. But you could feasibly do it in CS2 as well by just doing this and then jumping up and starting to peek with AWP or with rifle. Again, a move that is maybe a little unexpected and might work for you as well. I guess, let me see, does this command work in CS2? It does not. Let me restart one time then, because I'm somehow running out of money. One small thing, this isn't really a move, but just for the sake of it, I showed in a previous session, and I've been failing a little bit recently. A lot of people, when they want to Molotov under Balk from inside apps, they will line up with this and aim here and then run until they hit the lamp. And I think this works, but I believe... let me just test, because I've been failing it somehow lately. No, okay, this actually does work. So, just if you don't know it, if you do this Molotov that a lot of people do, where you Molotov on the lamp, you won't be visible to stairs. This one even failed completely somehow. But let me try it again. So this one burns everything, but it doesn't burn on top of this box. So people can actually jump up here and hide. And if you instead do it like this, and you aim up here on this line, and you then do it, you might expose yourself a little bit more to stairs. It's actually not that easy as I thought. Maybe you need to do it like this, basically. But it burns in a different way, so that it actually burns up on the box, because it hits this piece of the wood, and therefore gets closer to the box. So yeah, I guess that's it's not really a move, a solo queue move, but it's still pretty good to know for any solo queue player. Then today as well, this is a little bit higher level, but I saw someone call. We needed window smoke, and we got the top mid smoke as well. Then the guy said, underhand flash left side, jump through right side, and just instantly run and peek con. And yeah, I think actually this is a super strong solo queue move as well. It is a little bit more high level, because you need teammates that are able to smoke top mid and window, right? But still, if you are any of the high elo players, or at least you have maybe one duo who can help with doing some of this utility, try out this move. I think it's going to work great. I think around mid I think in general is not the easiest space to make a solo play, because there's typically 3 players playing around this. So I think we'll skip this for now. For B on Mirage, I don't think there are that many good solo plays, honestly. I think one of the easiest ones to pull off is buying AK or Mac-10 or something like this, and then walking close. And as you're walking close, you can have just one teammate throw, flashes for you, and you can try all these flashes to go out, jump out, or you can run out Balk or whatever, and see if you can win the duel on the B player. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be done with the entire team. The rest of your team could be A, for example, or taking mid, whatever. But if you want to go for a solo play, it's not really solo, because ideally you have flashes. But I would say this is something you could probably set up at most levels of competition. Just ask someone to flash OB for you 2 times. Now, there is also one move for B Mirage, which I think is, again, a little more high elo, I guess you can say. It's kind of like the Kisarato move. And I don't actually know exactly how you want to smoke, but I think it's just something like this. So you smoke so it lands deep in the corner, and it smokes off B. No, actually, that's not how it works. I guess maybe... So, does anyone know this move? It's kind of popular. Maybe he just runs and throws it like this by hand. That could actually be. But anyway, yeah, I don't see otherwise how you do it. But basically, the idea is just having a smoke, that lands on balcony that has both windows open, and then as you're like you will be rushing and doing this basically. And you can go in here, and as you are running here, and smoke is a little bit better, you get someone to flash over B, and then you sit in this window. Now I messed up the smoke again. We'll give it a few seconds, and imagine that the smoke is all the way out on balcony. Then if someone is flashing over B, it kind of looks like you're rushing B, when in fact you're trying to kill the short player instead of the B player. And that's... I think this is something where you don't actually necessarily even need the flashes, but if you just go do this, smoke on a balcony, run out, and you insta-peek short, this is a move that actually might work. Yeah, and then the idea is, if you peek here, you don't see anyone short. If you have someone flashing for you, you could even, you know, go through the smoke and drop down to car and start searching from here. So it's a very, I would say, versatile move in a way. So yeah, you could try that. I will show one last thing. I haven't really experimented with it in this game, but in CSGO again. I had a lineup. I wonder actually where it was exactly. Maybe it was somewhere like here, where I would do a jump throw smoke that went over the apps. Yeah, basically like this. And this smoke would land, you know, in a way to give like one way, right? So anyone who didn't play CSGO, or maybe didn't play it that much, might not know that there were times where back in the day, and pro teams were using and abusing this constantly, where a smoke could land in a certain way so the person closest to the smoke could see and the person furthest from the smoke couldn't see. If you would want to experiment, I am sure there is a smoke you can find. Like, I haven't even thought about this myself until now, but for sure you can throw a smoke that bounces off the back of this car and lands at a certain height here, so that this might give you like some kind of one-way effect. Like, this is probably not what we want. Maybe we can even have it land down here or something. Again, I haven't really experimented with it, but I'm sure that there is a smoke you can find that will be beneficial for you to throw. Maybe even you can find a smoke that lands like this and it waterfalls down, and you can use this to do the kind of Kisarato move, and if not, you can even like drop through the smoke kind of and go towards short, if you know that the short player is not here. Like, something like this, I don't know. I just wanted you guys to know that this is a possibility. And this is something you could do to pressure B-side as a solo queue player. Like, you could find a smoke lineup that blocks off balcony. Now the B player is a little more uncomfortable, has to hold an angle where he still can have info, or allow you to sit inside the smoke and potentially sit here while the smoke is fading. And yeah, that can be pretty nasty. I think that is mostly it for Mirage. I think A is definitely a side of the map where it's more easy to do like a good solo queue move. But I think Inferno is a map that has like a lot of solo queue moves on T. I didn't actually even show any moves on CT Mirage, which was actually my plan. So I think we'll do Inferno for now. Actually, let's go and finish Mirage first. Because as solo queue on CT, there's definitely a lot of stuff you can do as well. So let me just fix everything. One of the moves you can make, this is kind of movement based, but you could throw like the Ram Molotov, and after Ram Molotov, jump. Very important, you're up on this step. I believe if you're on this step, you can actually still get up. But I don't know, it's just personal preference. A little extra height doesn't hurt. This is also possible, but because you have to jump higher, you will probably like end up almost slowing down more. And if you do it from here, it's like you can do it in a more fluid motion. But basically just you Molotov, you jump up, and then you go in here. And I think even if you do the lineup that I showed earlier, where you do, like, you can even delay it a little bit. This is like very advanced. Normally you could just do the Molotov and jump up. But I do believe if you do it properly, it's possible for you to, see, this was definitely not proper, but to throw the Molotov in a way where you almost, as you're jumping up here, will be like... Yeah, maybe not actually. Well, I guess a different thing you can do is just... I guess this worked more for CSGO, because the Molotovs were probably a little louder. But what you could do is you could Molotov ramp, and as you're coming here, throw a nade, and then jump up, and then the nade might mask the sound of you jumping into palace, and also it might look more like you are blocking an A-rush. And normally, if you're blocking an A-rush, it means you have like... you could be far, like playing retake, you could also be close, but you typically have kind of defensive positioning, right? Like you won't be immediately holding an angle. Like maybe you're holding like this, or maybe your shadow, or maybe your ticket, but it's not like if you do this kind of nade that is close here, that you will, that Cheese will expect you to push basically. So a little more advanced, but you could add the nade to mask your sound a little bit going in here. Then this is one thing I love for solo queue. It's probably my favorite move right now actually. You do need a teammate to come with you, but it should be possible. So it's actually super simple. You can just do the Molotov slope. You come over here, you walk, and after the Molotov, you just peek ramp here, and then you clear this, and you have a teammate right behind you. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't understand, but if there's no one here, or here, or here, if it's, you know, Faceit or Premier, well, then they basically never sit up on this ledge. Some pros do it. It never happens to me in Faceit that I die from someone sitting up here. So as soon as I clear this, and that, I almost walk in a completely straight line. Because I know if they're not here, I can get really good timing if I instant walk. And then the idea is you have a teammate with you. I do this a lot on my stream as well. You ask your teammates to stay alive, and then afterwards you can push behind mid, and the other teammate can push behind B house. And then you actually clear out kind of both parts of the map that you don't have information on at the same time. And if I die in mid, they are never going to expect my teammate is in B house. If my teammate is pushing behind B house, now he kills one and dies, for example, I can just walk back from mid, and now they're locked inside B. They basically cannot rotate back and stuff. It's a really disgusting move, because the meta right now in Faceit is people are just going 4 or 5 mid every single round. So that's another. You can also practice your movement a little bit and go fast into ladder room yourself. You can also do this short jump and run short or whatever. You can also obviously go into underground and play down here. These are all solid solo queue moves. What I sometimes even like to do is, if I'm playing against T's who like to do the top mid smoke, I like personally to jump short with rifle. Oh my god, that's bad. I'm full screen windowed right now. So yeah, and then I will walk close to the top mid smoke, and you can basically sit and play behind it. So you can see anyone who walks down mid, and you can also see anyone who walks through the smoke and goes short. So you can even let them go a little bit and try to take a multi-kill. That's a really nice solo queue move in my opinion. For B, I guess the only real thing there is just you can, you know, do this and this to get into B house and push it early. There's also possibility of you, if you ask someone to boost you on the shadow, this is the perfect spot for you to jump up. Make sure you jump from the highest point, you jump up on your teammate, and then you can instantly jump up. This was great in CSGO. In CS2, because we have this ledge, the difference in time isn't that big, and you only need one guy to do this movement instead of doing the boost. So yeah, I think that kind of covers the solo queue moves on Mirage that I like to do. Yeah, I can't come up with anything else really. So yeah, let's call Mirage done. For Inferno, there's definitely a lot more tricks, especially on T-side, that you can try. So one of the moves you could try is literally just, if you have, you know, a good spawn, you can do like the Molotov. which is like a very normal Molotov. You can even run, you know, kind of fast, get close into apps, and you can alone, or preferably with some teammate, just instantly walk through apps. And if you don't see the apps player, just walk all the way through apps. This is probably also something that, I mean, it kind of abuses the fact that a pit player will sometimes not start in apps, and therefore it is maybe a little bit more of a high level strat in a way. But at the same time, what you're essentially just doing is you're trying to find a gap early. And this definitely works, so I can recommend that. Other than this, I have, I call it Stown move. I don't actually know if it was Stown who showed it to me or why I called it that. But this is also a really good solo queue move. You can use it in matches as well. And I don't think anyone is using it in CS2. I've at least never seen it. Also, I, in general, have never... Like, I think I call it Stown move because Stown showed it to me. But, I mean, no one is doing this, basically. The only sort of bad part, but it doesn't have to be bad, is that part of the move is technically to have someone spamming this wall. And that isn't really happening much anymore. So for this to make sense, for the CTs to not know that you are doing this, in a match, for example, you will have to have rounds where you do this without doing the move. But in Faceit or any kind of solo queue, it's not like you spamming the wall makes them know what you're doing. So basically just ask a teammate to come here and shoot this wall. And it's partly to stop the apps player from pushing, but what it really is just for making sound. So I like to do this when I have front spawn towards boiler. And what I do is I will come over here, I aim at the bottom of this stair, and then I jump throw Molotov. Then I will go over here, I will jump up, and I will try to, as fast as I can, jump up and slow walk. And now the Molotov fades right as I walk in, and then I instantly walk to boiler. And what I like to do is I instantly peek short. If he's not short, I instantly peek long. And if he's not long, I just walk short. And I try to stick to the right side of the wall, because then if apps player is inside apps, now I can basically sit here and hold rotation. I can also keep taking timing if I want. But the whole point of the strat is that, you know, you do this Molotov, which is very common. And the timing of it works out so beautifully that, you know, it's almost always when the Molotov is about to fade. Okay, this one I messed up a little bit. Maybe you don't even want to throw it with jump throw. But at least you can try to time it. I think I would need to throw it earlier. Let's try it like this again. So this one was good, right? Now it went in. And then if you do the movement correct, you come in and you can instantly slow walk. And it's like almost perfect timing. Well, basically it is perfect timing. And then you can check here. And a lot of the times the short player is just not aware that someone can be boiler after like 5 seconds of active round, basically. So yeah, this one I love. I absolutely love this move. Yeah, definitely recommend giving that one a go. For mid, I mean, there is one move you can do. It is a little bit risky, but I saw actually a team that we were playing in ESGA main. They had this as kind of a set round. And it was pretty cool. So what they did, they always played with this smoke. We call it the Fnatic smoke. Because it was Fnatic that did it first in CSGO. Just go in here, like put your shoulder here and aim here and do normal jump throw. This one goes over and lands all the way at the top of middle. And it lands really far back. So, I mean, CTs can not get info, but they could potentially jump. And they can also boost. But basically, this is one way you can use this smoke. Is you wait for the smoke, and when the smoke is there, you run up, you bounce a nade in front of boiler, and now it blows up only the smoke on the right side, and you can peek short with this. And if you don't see anyone short, you could try to walk through it. You know, that's a bit of a risk, but you could. And even if you don't see anyone short, or even if you don't want to do the HE, it can sometimes be really good to do this smoke. And when the smoke pops, you know, you just almost immediately walk through it on the left. And the reason why this is good is because, at least at the little bit higher level, the default setups for CTs are basically either 2B, 3A, where the A players are playing long, short, apps, or the other default setup is you start 3B, and then you basically play 2A, And a lot of the times it will be short and apps player. And the reason why it's short and apps player is because with 3B, you can kind of, you want to be blocking the A side instead of you blocking them splitting. If you're long and they just smoke you long and they rush short, well then your apps player is 1 on 5. So by doing the flag smoke, if you do it on a round where you think the opponents are 3B, you can actually catch this timing and walk through the long smoke, and you can be here on timing that the CTs have no chance of knowing. And because of the travel time of the smoke, you could ask someone to do it for you, but you could also just do it yourself and just walk through it slightly later. I guess if you really wanted to as well, you could probably find like a Fnatic smoke lineup from here. Let me just try to see if I can do any kind of smoke so you can kind of get an idea for what I mean. Like, you could probably get a smoke that bounces off this wall. That was actually pretty close. Like, imagine I put my shoulder here. Something like this. One more try. Because actually, it would be pretty nice to have this lineup. I guess maybe here. Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. But I think you get the idea. Maybe we can even do a jump throw forward. And maybe we'll get a little bit more juice. Yeah, so basically kind of like that. I don't know if that's very consistent, but you could potentially have like a lineup where you do the Fnatic smoke from here. That way you can run completely unbothered close to second mid. And then as you're coming up here, you know, now the smoke pops and then you have better timing on the smoke. Instead of throwing it from down here and kind of having to wait here where you could die from B. And then waiting for the smoke to pop and then walking close and then like you're missing the timing basically. So that's an idea. For mid, I don't know if there really is much else you can do. I think one thing that is kind of cool is do any of you guys know the lineup for this long smoke actually? Is it like this? I don't think that's right, oh? No. None of you know this smoke? I hear a microphone, but okay, basically there's a smoke you can throw for long from here. I'm a coach, so I don't know it. But you can smoke long from here. It doesn't actually really matter where you smoke long from. I just don't know any long smoke because I'm retired. And basically, if you smoke long, it's kind of straightforward. But a lot of people will smoke long and then they will Molotov short. And, you know, there are some people who have set lineups where, you know, they line up somewhere on the wall and they bounce the Molotov and then, whatever, while standing still, it lands on the top of the roof. I'm pretty sure there's a lineup for this. I swear I've seen lineups for this. Maybe it is with slow walk or something, but basically like that. That way, ideally it burns under the roof and it also burns on top. I've seen people do this. Something that's becoming a little bit more meta now is people have some kind of crazy lineup where they do Molotov like that. And it lands even deeper than this so that the orb can't hold this angle. I don't know exactly the lineup for this Molotov, but kind of like this, except it goes through and it lands kind of like this. But something I saw Stare from Astralis do is he had like smoke long for himself, and then instead of Molotov in right side, it's a small detail, but he Molotov close left. That way he doesn't need to at all worry about left side, and he only has to fight in one direction. Whereas if you Molotov short, I mean, if you don't Molotov there on top of the roof, or even if you do that one, there might be a guy sitting here, but there could also be a guy sitting here. And for solo queue, might be worth it to smoke long, Molotov the close copy, and that way you only need to fight in one direction. Probably you want a Molotov lineup that's like bouncing deep, so it doesn't burn out that much. Like this, so you can still peek good on short. But that way you only have to aim in one direction. So that's good. And let me just take a napkin for my nose. One moment. Can someone try to say something? Because I just want to make sure your guys' microphones are working.
Hello.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, I'm back. So, for banana, there are a few different moves you can do. This is not really a solo queue move, only really at high elo where everyone knows, you know, the smokes. But if you go in here, and I think it is bottom right of the yellow, and jump throw forward, this is the Saiwu smoke, if I didn't miss it. Man. Is it?
It's just jump through.
Is it just jump throw?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I won't make it though. No, maybe I just got extremely... Maybe it's more like on the bottom right instead of where they connect. I think I got really unfortunate. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so this is like the Saiwu smoke, and the idea of this is you can get into this corner and you can like kind of peek in front of it. Like it gives you ST. Maybe I still failed it actually a little bit, but the idea is you can stand here and have vision and you can get a flash and you can go through. That's how the pros do it. You could do, if you're high elo, ask for the smoke and, you know, ask for a flash for the wall, stuff like that. But one move that I actually think is a little bit underrated right now maybe is it's possible for you as a solo queue to, you know, run and Molotov on purpose up there, behind the car, and then run up and even run through your own Molotov and tag a little bit. Even better if you can get a teammate to throw the Molotov. That way, if you burn a little bit, it burns you less. But it's kind of like it's not something you want to do every round, but it's good to give the CTs the illusion that you want to be pushing B really fast. Oh, sorry, that you want to block the CTs from pushing, and then you are actually the one pushing into them, right? It's kind of like an old CSGO move. Flusher was doing it, but it's also one of those moves. No one's done it for 7 years, and because of that, it could maybe be good. I think for B, I mean, there's so many things you can do, but a lot of it is so much about what are the opponents doing as well. And so I think it's not that easy to talk about what is a good like solo move here. Almost everything you do on banana, you will have to have some kind of support for it to make sense. Like, if you try to play inside banana, they're going to take it deep, you're going to probably die to nades. If you try to rush, some of the time you're going to die to nades, and yeah, it's probably not the easiest area to play, like have a move on, because everyone plays it different, basically. And again, I think forgot to talk about CT move, so let's actually go and do that. Do you guys have a request for the third map? It'll probably be the third and final map. Would you prefer, like, that is another easy solo queue map, like Dust 2 maybe, or something like that? Or anyone has a request?
Yeah, sounds okay.
Maybe Anubis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know more about Anubis as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was considering between Anubis and Dust 2, so the fact that you guys say Anubis is good. I think Anubis is definitely my best solo queue map. I always perform really good on that map, so I have some moves for sure. So for CTs, it's again kind of the same. Like on B, there aren't really many solo queue moves you can do. I think one thing that was really meta when Inferno came out, but isn't meta at all anymore, at least I don't see it in Pro CS that much, is this angle, which is, I call it the Nico angle. He was kind of the first one to use it. But the idea of this angle is that for the T's, like they want to clear sandbags, they might clear it like this. They won't see you, and they only see you when they jump up. And then, you know, a really good player might jump up like this. And, I mean, if they really know you're there, they can get their movement to be in a way where they can kill you very fast, right? But if you're not playing against super high elo players, they will probably not crouch and they'll just jump up. Maybe that even is better somehow. But like, imagine it will probably be more like this, like you jump up or you come running and you like go like this, right? And that's the moment when you can hold your aim here and you can just adjust and kill. Another good part about this is that a lot of people who throw Molotovs or nades do it wrong. Actually, I think I want to just go T-side for this, but Just a really good thing to learn is that some people, when they want to mullo sandbags, they mullo like right here. And you basically always want to mullo as far to the right as you can. It seems like it isn't the angle, but basically, I think almost no matter where you are, if you mullo as right as possible, it will burn everything. Like, it will burn a Nico angle all the way deep and close. So, no matter what, always Molotov as right as you can. I've seen so many people like Molotov more like this, and then sometimes it will land like that, and it won't take like this guy. And it's such an easy mistake to fix, basically. And the same goes for HEs. Like, if you want to nade this, you should probably nade very far to the right. If you want him to exactly take damage in this corner, you know, then maybe not. But the point is, if you nade like this, right? I'll show you. Let me actually line up this Nico angle first. Like that. And if I now do the nade, I took like 4 damage. And it's because this wall in front of me soaks up a lot of the nade damage. So that's another good thing about the Nico angle. You know, if you get Molotov, you're kind of screwed. But if you get naded as the only thing, you're pretty good, actually. You can sit here, even if they triple nade you, you probably will still be alive. And you can potentially multi-kill. Or even if you get triple naded, you could try to move into a more kind of, yeah, what do I want to say? Like, committed sandbags angle. Because if they triple nade, they should probably assume it's clear. You can also just stay on this angle, of course, and try to multi-kill from here. But, yeah, that's a really, really good thing to think about. And, yeah, other than that, a CT, I don't know if there's that many good, like, solo moves on B. Everything kind of needs a teammate and, like, some kind of plan. So I won't go through them too much. From long, I think one thing you could maybe do for your teammate, or you could ask from your teammates, is just them standing here and aiming here. I think this is kind of like a perfect flash from mid. And you could use this to peek with. Yeah. So they're going to be absolutely destroyed if they get flashed like this and you're peeking like this. I like personally as well to just... This is again more advanced, but I just like to do like a flash like this and then run and peek. And how it looks for the T's, I mean, it's on feeling, right? But it's very difficult to dodge it. And even though I probably won't kill anyone who is all the way deep mid, it's enough that anyone who is like here, especially if I do it, you know, in a match, I'll probably do it even more precise. If he's down here, I have a chance of killing him. If he's anywhere close, I will kill him, most likely. And it's just more like a flash for me to check what's going on, basically. Besides that on long, is there really anything? I guess it's not really an aggressive move, but playing like this is pretty cool. Very unexpected angle. Like you peek this, and then you get ready to peek this, and then you're sitting here, and you're kind of half hidden by the flower pot. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. For short, I think there is definitely a move. I don't actually... Maybe... Yeah, I always call things some crazy names, so maybe I shouldn't tell you what I call it. It's nothing like offensive or anything like that. It's just like really stupid names, so it's not worth it for you guys to know it, I guess. But let's just say that we call this move Kerrigan, right? This is from a team aspect, but from a solo queue, I think this is something you can definitely ask. What I will do is sometimes I will just start in boiler. Normally the T's will Molotov apps, like a boiler, like I talked about earlier. And what I will ask from my teammate is, you know, when the boiler Molo is about to fade, I will tell him to Molo apps, and ideally he will Molotov like as deep as he can. This wasn't great. This was actually really bad. I mean, technically he could be kind of close and do it like this as well. This one makes it so the T's here can't go up the stairs and look. And what it can give me as short player inside boiler is after the Molotov fades, my teammate's Molotov is still up. Obviously this was a team Molotov, right? It will burn a little less, but still it should be enough that you can crouch in, or you can hold this angle while the Molotov is up. And if someone jumps balcony, you can kill them here. If they don't jump balcony, you can walk out and you can actually get inside balcony early round, which is a really cool. It's not really solo queue move. I guess potentially you could do it by when the Molotov here is fading, do Molotov like this, and then it just makes things a little more expected, I guess. In solo queue is probably fine. Maybe you can just do the Molotov for yourself even. But it can allow you some freedom in this space. For apps, I think there are a few things you can do. Actually, I have one more for Boiler. Or it's kind of also for long player. I have this thing I call Heroic Peak. Where I run over mid. Sometimes I will smoke, sometimes I won't. And then as I'm running up here, when I'm about here is when the T Molotov will land. And what I do is I on purpose stay all the way on the left of the wall and I look down. And like by doing this, it's probably hard to tell. I could maybe add a bot, but even if I'm looking here, the T's that are running up here will probably not be able to see me, especially when my head is looking down, and especially when there's also a Molotov popping at the same time. So it's actually a way where you can take like 2 tags in a Molo, run through, and I like to start walking here. And with rifle, you can start immediately walking. Sometimes you meet the apps player here, you can kill him. And if you don't meet apps player here, you can have instantly big flank. And it's so insane. Like, you can be instantly behind all the B players. This is probably my favorite move. And the great thing is, it works with like AWP as well. Because you could just run through here and take this angle or take this angle. You will be here so fast. And even better if you have a safe rifle, or if you want to just go for a 4-spy and you have an MP9, whatever. Like an MP9 in this position. Like getting here and fighting the guy who's coming apps or having big flank can win you the whole round so easily. So this is probably my favorite move. I actually haven't done it for like a year, and I haven't seen anyone do it for a very long time. But in my opinion, definitely the best move you'll see in this session. So remember this one. I have one more thing. It's kind of out of meta, but I guess you could try it. If you want to make an aggressive apps push, another way of doing it is that you like kind of do the Molotov like this. Or maybe that you yeah, it seems kind of stupid, but you could do like double click while you run and then do like that. And make sure you don't tag in the Molo. For the T's, it will sound like you just did a normal apps Molo, and they will think that it's not possible for you to be in front of this, basically. You could also have a teammate, ready to Molo all the way on the right, like that. Like, even have a lineup, maybe. And then you run, and as you are, like, getting past the Molotov, obviously this one is also bigger because it's a T-Molo, but you can, like, yeah, maybe do this. Maybe you can even do like that. Just make sure that, yeah, I haven't tested this very much, but there is for sure a way where you can underhand like a Molotov that you don't burn with, especially if it's a CT Molotov. Or you can do what I did at the beginning, like did double click, right, and make it through. And now it's kind of, again, you are like pushed. Yeah, I think that kind of covers it for solo queue moves. I mean, I guess also this is kind of a solo queue move. It's not so useful. Oh, I forgot to crouch. You have to do that in the CS2, of course. But it's a fun movement trick to learn. And it isn't actually that hard. It was harder in CSGO. Yes, okay. But definitely try this Heroic Peak. I heavily recommend it. It's fun and it works. I actually have to reload the map just so I can tell you guys, like, have you ever even noticed that this guy, the T, look at his teeth, like they're so showing. I don't know, I just noticed it now. Okay, solo moves on Anubis. One of the very straightforward ones that I think a lot of you know, you line up here. You can do this dot, a normal jump throw. This is the B lurk smoke, and what's so cool about this one is it kind of cuts the B main entrance in two, which means normally you play 2 on B on Anubis, and this smoke isn't really possible to cover with one guy. Like, either you hold left side or you hold right side. So there's a lot of possibilities for you to go either side. The way that I would say CTs deal with this a lot of time now is that when they see this lurk smoke, I at least do this a lot, I jump on top of this, and then you can like see over the smoke and you can take the duel against the T. That way they never even get close to the smoke, and then you don't have to worry about it that much. Plus this duel is kind of advantage for CT, I think, because the T is typically peeking it pretty bad. But that's a very cool solo queue. You can go either left side and kind of edge around the smoke, or you can go right side and try to kill the con player. Very straightforward, very good as well. Yeah, is there anything other on B that I would characterize as a solo queue move? I don't know the lineup that well for this nade. I think there is one that you can throw like this or something. The way I learned it was, I think, like that. But there is definitely a lineup where you go and do it like earlier, and this one is better. Something like this, but there's like a better aiming point. This is not really a move that will get you kills, obviously, but you can get a lot of nade damage. And if you do it right, I'll try to see if I can do my lineup here with Molo. No, I couldn't. But you can get it to bounce really far down, so it lands here. You can even Molotov this. And that's a really, really cool solo queue move that I recommend people learn if you like to play towards B. Other than that, yeah, again, this isn't really a solo queue aggro move, but I think a lot of people struggle with holding B main push. And one of the places that, like, if you're standing here, they can go on top of you. If you're holding like this, they can go beneath you, right? So you have to like jiggle and stuff. There's one position where you can kind of hold both, and that's if you go like up like this, for example. You can hold the push on the right, and if they jump up, you will see them, and you can like stand up if you wanna. Like, you can adjust, because as a CT, when you're jumping up here, like, this is not where your aim is. You might still die, but yeah, it's worth knowing about this position, I think. For mid, let me see if I remember this. I think you line up like so. And is it like... Oh, that seems very wrong. Maybe it's actually still right, almost. I think it is almost right. Yes. So if you stand here, you can do the window smoke for yourself. It's double click, by the way. I'll even show you one from spawn. There is a spawn lineup where you spawn left, like top left. So one of the spawns on T, you spawn top left of this, and you just aim. No, sorry, you spawn top right of this thing, and you aim here, top right of the wood, and you do just normal jump throw. This one goes to window, and I think this spawn lineup is so nice to know because it's not very precise. And even if I don't have this spawn, I can always just run over and then do it. Like, even now I did it super poorly, but it will still land. So, yeah, if you know that spawn lineup, if you have the spawn, you can do it for yourself. You can also do it for someone else who asks, even if you don't have that specific spawn. There are some Molotovs that I'm not too great at, I think. Is it the carpet? Yeah, it is. Okay. So you can, as you're running here, when the carpet appears, kind of, if you aim at the corner of that, you can do the fast right side Molotov. And also, there is a Molotov lineup for, I think it's like that. Oh my god, I'm so impressed with myself. I did both of them first try, kind of. You could get someone else to throw the window smoke for you, or you could do the window smoke yourself, and you could do these fast lineups. One thing as well, maybe I've talked about this in the previous session, but it's actually super important. A lot of people go on this thing and aim here and do this Molotov. Actually, this one kind of landed the way I wanted to, but I think maybe it was right side window that people were doing it. And this Molotov had some bug. It didn't happen now, but sometimes it actually doesn't burn the corner fully. It's kind of strange. There is a better lineup for the Molotov, I will argue. You can jump up just on the edge of this, stand up and aim here. If you jump through the Molo, this one lands, and it might actually not burn the corner always, but it burns so that no one can be standing here at all, except for maybe the corner. And if he's locked in the corner behind the Molotov, it's super easy for you as a solo queue player to just bounce like a flash for yourself up here with window smoke and clear the corner. But what is good about this is you will never die to an AWP standing and holding this off angle. If there's like a Max 7 or MP9 playing close, they get forced forward and you can kill them from range. So because of this, I found a lineup through the smoke. There's kind of, you can get in here or you can get in here. I believe you get in here. Oh man. Oh yeah, there's 1, 2, 3 here. I think it's the middle one. Then you stand up, you go over, you jump up on the edge. Maybe it looks like it was actually the top of the 3. So make sure you get in this corner, crouch. There's 1, 2, 3, aim on the 3rd. You jump up here, whoops. And then you can do it even if there's mid smoke, because that's what happens a lot. CTs will do mid smoke. Now you don't see your lineup anymore. You can go over 1, 2, 3. You can go up here, bam, bam. And you have the good Molotov, so that if you want to clear out the MP9 who's been close, you do the Molotov, you do the nade. Now he has to swing out and you can kill him, basically. Very important Molotov to know. There's a Molotov as well. Not really a solo queue move. I'll show it anyway. I don't even think I know the lineup. Okay, I do know the lineup. There's this one where you Molotov, so if he's window, he has to swing. And if he's out here, he's stuck. Also a very cool Molotov. You can get someone to throw it for you. There is even a lineup, I think from here or something, where you can like aim at something and then it goes in. I don't know the lineup. Good luck. But you could potentially throw this Molotov and run over and peek if he's out window. Or you could do this for someone else. That's very, very cool utility to know. I think... I guess I will tell you about this. At some point we practiced against a team who kept doing a mid-smoke that landed here. And it was actually really annoying to play against. Like maybe it landed a little bit more to the left, but it kind of cut middle in half. And it made it really difficult as CT to have information whether or not the T's had taken mid. So imagine they did like double molo and then they did this smoke. And it was really difficult, yeah, for us to get any kind of information whether or not they took mid, they were staying behind the smoke, they were ready to split and stuff. If you're bored, you can find this lineup. You can use this as a solo move as well. Other than that for mid, don't think there's a whole lot. Actually, I guess, I mean, one thing that is kind of a solo queue move, but also not, is at high elo, this works at least, you can ask your teammate to stop here. Like some random teammate, I do it with randoms as well, and ask them to run boost you, and so he will stop there as first spawn, and you as second spawn, you jump on his head, and you get like run boosted, and then you drop here instantly, and you go like with rifle or with AWP in and try to peek con. I call it Superman, because it's like you get fucking sent flying. Pretty cool. Technically, you could do this by having someone do window smoke for you, for example. You just bounce this flash, and you just run and hope he doesn't peek, and then run down and do it. You're just a little slower, so you might have worse timing. That's the only thing. For con, I could probably write a book about how to do solo queue moves around con. I had this smoke, and I don't know, ever since the jump update, it's failing on an invisible wall, which is really annoying. I need to fix it. See, now it actually landed the way that it should. I think maybe a step too far, which in this case wasn't bad. Let me try like really W jump throw. You will see it should be stuck on an invisible wall, which is really annoying. Oh, actually, it's not somehow. Well, in my opinion, this is the best con smoke there is. The reason why is because you can have AWP holding, or you can have rifle holding, you can run close. And you can use this to force the CT to play inside con, what they will do typically is they will smoke outside con right here. And then when they do that, you can go and line up Molotov like this. You can take a step. This Molotov burns the whole right side. So the CT can only be here. And then what you can do is you can either blitz their smoke, or you can even just have lineup to spam this side. If you don't get kill, you can just walk through their smoke while your smoke is up. And it's super good. And what's also good about this smoke, I use this smoke a lot normally, but it's been failing recently. The fact that it's not failing right now is actually insane, though. Is then I'm gonna start using it again. But the good thing about this smoke as well is if you come in here and the CTs didn't smoke, you can take these duels if you want, but also you can actually go up to this line, you can move over, you have lineup for Molo Pillar, and you can even go through and you can edge your Molotov, you can clear jail, and after the Molotov, while the smoke is still up, you can start moving left side and you can actually clear the whole left side and start taking fights on the plat guys. It's extremely overpowered and very difficult to counter CT. I obviously do know some counters, but people in Faceit will not know any of the counters because they've never played against this smoke. It's amazing, and yeah, definitely recommend using that one. For A main, I think just like even this, flashing for yourself, it's not that great of a flash, but you could try it. Otherwise, I don't know if I remember the lineups, but there is a lineup. I want to say it's jump throw, but that cannot be. Yeah, it's double click jump throw. It's something like this. Something like this, and then like that maybe. Like really at the top. We haven't used this smoke for a while, but there is definitely a lineup. Maybe you have to be a little bit further back. No, actually, you would have to be further in front. Maybe it's like this, actually. That could be. Let's give it one last chance. There we go. So you can smoke A main for yourself. Like this. You could also, if you have front spawn, you can run across the bridge. You can come here. You can be in unexpected position if the CTs push. And if they don't, I think if you bounce the smoke on this line, you have basically perfect A main smoke. It wasn't the greatest lineup. Ideally, I guess you want to maybe go up from this and hit it like a little higher with a walk, like with a step. At least I think just if you Molotov off this, you get the Molotov. This is maybe you slow walk. I mean, if the smoke is better, it won't be a problem anyway. But you can do this to take the space yourself. Sometimes you can also just rush A and have someone smoke your Molotov. Because a lot of CTs will do that. You can just run in and have someone turn it off for you, and you go in and you take the fight. I will show one thing that I think probably you haven't seen before, unless I've shown it before. But if you get stuck in here, and you aim here, so this has some weird texture, top left, and you do normal jump throw. This is a smoke that goes down and lands left side of the pillar. It's not exactly a solo queue move. You could throw it for yourself and then come into A, but at least you can jiggle and then you can Molotov pillar. And then when pillar is moloed, you can kind of take the space for free. There's sometimes a gap on the left a little bit, so you can check that. And if that is clear, now you've at least made it to pillar by yourself. And even if you decide not to go in the smoke, if you can have someone do the smoke for you, if you can do this for someone else, if you play duo queue, for example, and you mono pillar, you have already put insane amounts of pressure on the A player. Like, it's ridiculous. So this smoke, in my opinion, far stronger than the A main smoke, but there's also more things that can go wrong. So that's why it can be sometimes not that great to use it. I think that kind of covers what I wanted to say on T. So let's quickly go over to CT. I'll show you my final moves. My favorite move, I call it even the NATO Suffix move. If you're a B player, I like to throw my smoke so it hits here. while I run at the start of the round. That way it lands at the back and it smokes normal B main, but for the T's it looks like this. So you make sure that there's something behind it. And what I just do is I walk right side of it, I jump up on the ledge, now you can check up. If they're not up, you check close. If they're not close, B is clear, you can instantly push behind. Bing bang bong, you probably won the round. At high elo CS, what a lot of the times happen, I do the smoke, I have to wait, because they are pretty good players, they will see the smoke, they will nade it, sometimes they even spam it, to make sure I don't go behind it. But the thing is, if I just wait for the nade, and I go after, sometimes, even if they spam, they might miss the spam, and then I just go and kill them anyway. This is my favorite move on Anubis. It has really high win percentage for me, like in terms of winning the 1-on-1 here on B. It's also a good move, just like the heroic peak on Inferno. If I have a saved M4, if I've saved, I don't know, MP9, even if I have a 5.7, I do this. So yeah, super, super good move. I love this to death. For con, I don't really play much con, so I don't really have any super good moves, honestly. I think there is definitely a lineup somehow for a flash that you underhand, and this was actually close. Maybe it's in front somehow. It's something like that. And imagine that the flash lands behind the stairs. Like that. Okay, so top of this, in this square, I guess. I think I'm saying a little different, but it will work. Like that, you can actually check con without getting blind. So you wait, and you swing, and the T's will all be blind, because it lands under the stair, but you won't be blind. Obviously, if the T's are sitting down here, they won't be blind. The only other thing for con, this is not really a early round move, but if you ever need to flash into con, if you're afraid someone is left side and right side, you can go here and aim here and do normal flash. Like, oh wait, maybe I moved. Hang on. This flash goes in, so this guy, he is fucked, and you can just, you know, dodge the flash, swing extremely wide, or you can also, you know, go in and clear this. For this guy, this flash is extremely pop. For this guy as well, if he's holding, it's pretty cool flash, and you throw it from safe. The only thing is, it bounces, but it's not that loud when you're in con. So you do this movement, you clear this, and yeah, you can retake con. Very, very cool solo queue flash. I guess one more thing as well. If people go B main out and they smoke this side, as B player, I like to underhand a flash in the smoke and then peek this side. So anyone who's coming out here and looking this way, they get blind by the flash that's inside the smoke, and then I swing and peek them from here. Only problem is if someone is top right here, he sometimes kills me, but that's pretty good solo queue move. For mid, yeah, I don't really have that many good moves. I guess there are lineups. I remember I had a lineup for mid smoke like this in the past, where it landed perfect. You can get one that lands and blocks this as well, and you can get, like, you could flash through it potentially. I really like to do this flash for my solo queue players that bounces on the window and they can peek with it. But I think in mid, there's not that many good moves you can do. You can also smoke mid and jump down through this, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. On A, I mean, you could just run out and flash over here. There's a lineup, so it's actually good. But I'm personally not a big fan. I think on A, there aren't many aggressive moves that you can do by yourself. You can sit behind this table, and it's pretty off angle. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't really have any crazy moves for A player that I can think of. So yeah, I think I got around all the moves that I had on these 3 maps that I use a lot in solo queue. Yeah, I hope you learned something new, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Any questions about the session? Can be about anything unrelated as well.
What's the best map for solo queue, in your opinion?
I think Anubis. I think, honestly, if you're a good Anubis player, you can do so much to win on CT, and you can do so much to win on T. And there's a lot of duels that you can force. So, I think actually it's Anubis. Some people will say Mirage. Some people will maybe say those two as well. I think for me it's definitely Anubis. Like, it's so good. Any other questions, guys?
Do you have like an Inferno B retake utility? Banana retake utility?
No. I mean, my team has it, but I don't know the lineup, so I suggest you just...
Alright.
I can real quick show you how the good retake utility lands, so that you know where... like, I can show you where you line it up almost. I just can't tell you where to aim, or how to like throw it, because I think one of them is maybe even double click in the current meta. You're standing like on top of this. I think actually you're standing like in this one or something. And then you do double click aiming somewhere, and the idea of the smoke is that I think it might even be higher, but it like goes over and it bounces on the ground and bounces up and lands on top of the wall. Because if you smoke like this, some people will just boost on the wall and stand like this, and then they can't get flashed basically, and then they can just hold. So what teams started doing was having a lineup that... Oh god. Was having a lineup... This wall is shaped weirdly. That lands like this, so it's super tall. And then they have a Molotov and Molotov car.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have one for it, but I just want to know if you had your own good one.
Yeah, no, I don't play much B in Pugs. And Inferno in general doesn't come up that much, but I'm sure there's someone who knows it. It's something like this. Imagine like that, where the smoke goes up and the Molo actually lands. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
When do you expect this video to be up?
At the moment, I got 6 sessions that still need to go up, but I expect it to be on the Gosu thing tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
And
I just
2
wanna,
other sessions.
because I want to
as well.
go back and look at some of the lineups again.
Yeah, that's really good. I will definitely suggest you do that as well. Okay, guys. If someone has one last burning question, you can say it now. Otherwise, I think I will go get some sleep, so I can get some rest, basically, for my cold, whatever I have.
Would you consider doing like a demo review of Australis versus Heroic
Yes.
from
I
the
can do
newest
that.
Blast Dallas game? Because
Yeah.
they played horrible for some reason.
Yeah, we could do that actually. We could do that next Thursday. If you remind me, we can definitely do it.